together again. Let's give them a good show. I'm ready.
The Exorcist, all new Friday at night, 8 Central on Fox.
It's a real pleasure to be here. Hi, guys.
Now, I was just watching that trailer, and I was like, that is terrifying. That is really scary. And he goes, it's not that scary.
It is scary. I mean, when you're shooting that, I mean, it's fun more than scary. But I'll tell you something. When I was about to start shooting the show, I thought, oh, the atmosphere on set is going to be dense and obscure. And actually, it was totally the opposite. It was, we had a blast shooting that show in Chicago. Besides Ben Daniels, he's great. Geena Davis, who is an amazing actress. She was so generous on set and outside of set. So it was a real honor to be part of that show.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back to the beginning of your career. You are a megastar in Mexico, and you also were a pop star for a little while. You were a part of a group.
Yes.
You have to, RBD, anybody? Tell us a little bit about where you got your start and how you've come to be now on a show like The Exorcist.
You know, I was, at the beginning, I wanted to study aviation. So I was going to enter into school in San Antonio, Texas. So I sent all the papers that I had to send, and I received that they accepted me. So, but I was also in an amateur theater company, and every single person that was there, they were going to do a casting for a movie in Mexico. So we all went there, and I got the part. And after that, I received another opportunity to do a TV show, which was called, it was a soap opera in Mexico. And after that TV show, I received another invitation to do another show, which was called Rebelde. It was a massive show in Latin America. We had the opportunity to travel to Brazil, to Argentina, Chile. We toured all over the US. We went to Spain, Romania, Serbia, Slovenia. So it was an amazing experience.
That RBD was the biggest Latin group of all time or something like that? The success that you guys got worldwide?
I don't know if it was successful. We had the possibility. We had the possibility to go to many countries, to many cities, and the only thing that I can say is that we had an amazing 4 years.
Yeah. And so, do you still look back on your music career and say, oh, I want to be a singer again, maybe we'll reunite one day? I know, when was that, 2009 that you guys broke up? And
actually, it was at the end of 2008. The last show we did was in Madrid, in Spain. But right now, I think it's going to be a little bit complicated, specifically because every single member of the group is concentrated in their career. I think it's going to be a little bit tough, but we had a blast.
So tell us how you got into television more so now in the States. I mean, you're in Sense8 as well, which I don't know if you guys watch on Netflix, but another great show. And now The Exorcist. How did you get the role on The Exorcist? What was the audition process like?
Actually, it was very peculiar because I was going to a table read on Berlin for Sense8. And I received this call from my manager and my agents. The three of them, the four of them, they were on the line, and they told me, okay, you have to go from Mexico to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to Berlin to go to the table read. So I went from Mexico to do the reading or the test for this show, and after I finished the test, I went directly to Berlin to do the table read. And when I was in Berlin, I was doing a dance rehearsal with Miguel Angel, which is one of the actors from Sense8, and I received the call that, okay, you're part of the show, you're part of The Exorcist, so you're not going to go back to Mexico, you're going to go directly to Chicago to shoot the pilot. Wow. So it was very, very intense because I had to concentrate in Berlin to build and to understand Tomas Ortega, because I had like 10 days to start shooting. So it was very intense, but it was an amazing experience. And when we received the news that we were going to be series, it was amazing. And it was the most amazing 4 months spending time with all the cast and crew from The Exorcist.
That's amazing. And how did you get into the headspace of playing a priest? You play Father Tomas on
Yes.
The Exorcist. How did you prepare? What kind of research did you do for this role?
It's interesting that you're saying that, because when I tried to talk to priests and to people from the Catholic Church, they were very hermetic. It was very difficult to talk about these matters with them. So the only possibility that I had was to, in a certain way, understand very well who Tomas was, what was the background of Tomas. And thanks to that, and if you understand very well your character, you can react to any external stimuli in a very good way. And also we had the possibility and the opportunity to do all that table work as a team. So we had Rupert Wyatt, which was the director of the pilot, also Rolling Jones, he was the producer, but he was very, very involved in the writing process. Jeremy Slater, he was also writing and he was producing the show, and he was the creator, the main creator of this show. So we all did that as a team, and that's the result of it.
It's crazy. What was your first day like on set when you walked on the set of The Exorcist in Chicago? Was there this creepy vibe? Were you nervous, anxious? I would be terrified to be in a show that's about exorcism.
First scene that I did was inside. I don't know if you guys saw the pilot. There's like a huge speech that Tomas is giving to his congregation. So it was packed. It was not packed, but there was a lot of people, and it was this huge speech that I had to give, and I was very nervous because it was like, okay, you're really a priest. You have to deliver this peaceful message to all your congregations. So I really had to nail it, and all the eyes were looking at me like, okay, so you're Tomas Ortega. You're the main guy in this show. Show us what you got. So I was a little bit nervous.
Yeah. And then, of course, you're working with Alan Ruck, who is a beloved actor from Spin City and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Geena Davis. What was it like to work with them on the show? And did
Amazing.
you take anything away from them? And
Amazing. Their generosity. They are so generous actors and generous people. And for example, Geena Davis, who doesn't know who Geena Davis is, not just in the States, but every single place in the world. And having the possibility to work with such a talented and generous actress, it was a privilege. And it was exactly the same with Alan. We had so many laughs at the Rand's house set, and it was a blast. It was amazing.
I actually knew Alan Ruck was my friend from theater camp. Was her
really?
dad. So I always knew Alan Ruck growing up, and he's a gem. I love him so much.
Yeah.
I love seeing him in this role. It's such like a fun, different role for him from his
Complex at the same time, because he has to portray this. He has like this physical issue, but it's very subtle. And the way Alan portrayed that was amazing, but very subtle. So he was doing an amazing job, and it was a pleasure to see him work.
Yeah. And for those who haven't seen The Exorcist yet, you should be watching it. It's really well done. But it follows this family, the Rance family, and their daughter who is overtaken by a demon, correct?
That's right. Chanukah Suika, she did also an amazing work. I don't know if you watched the show, but episode 5 was very, very intense, specifically for her. She had to go through these long hours of makeup at the trailer, so I remember we had to arrive. We arrived like at 10 a.m., so she had to arrive like, I don't know, 6 a.m. So it was very, it was very tough for her, but she did an amazing job too.
Yeah. So there's that whole aspect of it, but then there's this aspect of the Friars of Ascension, which is also an interesting storyline. You know, the show is about exorcisms, of course, but it's also about, I feel like, people battling their own demons.
That's right.
You know, Father Tomas breaks his vows, and with a lady called Jessica. What did you feel when you read that part of the script and how he was kind of grappling with who he was and who he was becoming? Because he is a beloved character in this world where people look to him for guidance. And
You know, one of the strengths of this show, in my personal opinion, is the scripts. And I think that's the most important backbone of every single project. And I think that what Jeremy and what all the writers wanted to show or portray was that, okay, we were battling these negative entities and we were battling these demons, but also what happens with those inner demons that we have, that every single person in the world has, like fears, doubts, and those are like little demons that attack us. And in this specific show, those fears and doubts are like little gates that let those bigger demons to enter. So I think that the show is very grounded. The characters are also very grounded too. We have very three-dimensional relationships with each other, with each one another. So yeah, definitely, we have to fight our own demons, and Tomas Ortega is not the exception. He has to fight his doubts, his fears, and it's like this path of the warrior. He has to discover his strength to fight this massive negative entity.
yeah. What's the hardest part for you about playing this character?
Well, the language, number one. But at the same time, to really connect with that negative part of Tomas. If you see Tomas as a person or as a character from the outside, you can see like a generous, kind priest. But in the inside, that's the most important part, it's not that kind, and it's not that colorful or white. There are more layers. So trying to portray that in a very subtle way, that was difficult. But I had an amazing camarada, which was Ben Daniels. He's the best actor. He's very committed. He's very talented. He's so generous. I think all of the cast was so generous. So I was very lucky to be part of that show.
What was it like? Because those two characters, Father Tomas and Father Marcus, are very different in their moral standings and things like that. What were those scenes like to play together? And were you ever like, oh, I wish my character was more like Father Marcus? Because Father Thomas gets some hate online.
I know, but Father Marcus, he's so fun because he's a badass, and he's so aggressive, and he has no fear and confronting face-to-face to this demon. But it was very interesting to see that contrast between Father Marcus and between Father Tomas. And they both come from very different backgrounds, from very different places, and it was very fun to see them together interact, even though they were so different.
So the last episode that aired, the demon left Casey's body and went into Geena Davis's character, Angela's body.
Yes.
Which people were like, yay, the demon's gone. Oh no, not so fast.
No.
And then you guys took a freaking long break, and we've been waiting to see what happened.
Well,
So
first of all, it was the first break we had was because of the World Series.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it was because of elections, I think. And yeah, fortunately, we're back. And I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to generate a spoiler. And I am an expert on generating spoilers. And I definitely don't want to do that.
but we have 2 episodes left before the finale. You said you don't want to give spoilers, but can you kind of set up what we could see in the next 2 episodes without giving away?
It's going to be very... it's going to be massive. There's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of... many things are going to happen internally for every single character, and there's going to be like very huge internal battles for each and every single character, and we're going to be able to see that. So I don't know how Jeremy did that, the writer, but he did an amazing job writing episode 10 and episode 9 too. So it's going to be amazing.
What kind of response have you seen, online with social media and everything? He has a lot of followers, let me tell you, on Twitter. I was like, whoa.
No, it's not that much.
Have you seen your fans really react to the show in a positive way, and has it been cool for you to see that?
Yeah, definitely. At the very beginning, when people knew that this show was going to be aired, there was a lot of expectation because of this film, which was the holy grail of horror. And there was a lot of expectation of what this show was going to deliver. But for our surprise, the reviews were great, the critics were great, the fans all over the world, because fortunately also this show is right now airing in Latin America, in Europe, in Canada, in the US, obviously. And the response has been great. And we have had massive support in social media, in Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. There are like these hashtag Renew the Exorcist. So thank you very, very much for the support. This is a great opportunity to say that to all the people that are watching The Exorcist, and thank you very, very much.
Yeah, it's a great show. And it must have been crazy to get on a network show in a primetime spot, being on Fox. What's it been like for you to, come to this part in your career where...
I was really amazed that Fox was looking for a Mexican actor that was really from Mexico, and I really applaud that from Fox, and I am very, very thankful. And I think that one of the also strengths of this show is the multicultural possibilities that this content has. And I feel great. It was an honor.
Have you noticed any of your other projects, your past projects, being on one of these streaming sites or getting a newfound following over the last few years with things like Netflix? Sense8 is on Netflix. Have you seen any of that where people are discovering your old work by seeing you on The Exorcist and saying, who is this guy? I want to know what he's done.
Yes, many, many times on social media, on Twitter. It's like, the guy from Sense8 is the guy from Rebelde, but wait. But the guy from Sense8 is also the guy from The Exorcist, but the guy from The Exorcist is the guy from Rebelde, so I'm confused. And it's...
And Pancho.
There's going to be Pancho. Pancho, it's a nickname, so if you're from Mexico, if you're from Latin America, and your name is Alfonso, hi. And if your name is Alfonso, your nickname is Pancho. So if you're here in the States, if you're Robert, then you're Bobby. It's the same, but Alfonso, Pancho, yeah.
I never knew that. Nice little fun fact we're learning here on Build today. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit, too, about being a part of Sense8 and what it's been like to be, you're on Fox with this show, and then you're on Netflix, which is another huge platform right now. What's that experience been like? Great.
And having also the possibility to work with Lana, with Lily, with James, they were directors that revolutionized the way of making and portraying cinema. They did Matrix. So I remember when I was 16 years old, I didn't want to go to school because I saw Matrix so many times. And it was mind-blowing to think that probably 17 years later, I was going to work with them. So it was crazy, and it was an amazing opportunity, and I felt so blessed. And also, Netflix has revolutionized the way of seeing content. So it was a revolutionary story with revolutionary directors, with a revolutionary platform. So I was very lucky, and I feel very lucky.
Yeah, and season 2's coming, right, next year?
Actually, we're gonna have a 2-hour special in Christmas. Well, a little bit before Christmas, the 23rd of December. Sorry, December. And the rest of the season is gonna be aired in May.
Oh, nice! Looking forward to that. And what about The Exorcist? Is this, will the finale kind of finish this series, or could we see it come back for more seasons?
I hope that happens. We have to wait. And the only thing that I can say right now, it's the season finale is going to be in 2 parts. The first part is going to be aired this Friday, and the second part is going to be next Friday. So it's going to be massive. It's going to be great.
Yeah, just in time for the holidays. A nice little horror chill,
Yes.
No sort of festiveness around this. Do you ever walk on set before I go to the audience and see, Casey or Geena in their makeup and freak out a little bit? It has to be a little scary.
It was scary, the amount of hours they had to be on makeup. That was really something that, it was so amazing. Like they had to stay there for maybe 5 or 6 hours, and they were so patient. I mean, I'm not that patient sometimes because I like to walk and I cannot stand still. Yeah. Look, I don't know what I want. So I really admire that patience that that both had.
Yeah. Well, patience is good because I heard you're a new daddy, so get ready for lots of patience in your future.
Oh, yes, yes. And I'll tell you something. Sleep has been a little bit tough, but it's the best roller coaster I've ever been in my life. It's the best thing that has ever. That's the best project for me and for my wife. That was the best project. That is the best project.
Congratulations,
Thank
Ben,
you.
on the baby. I do want to go to the audience for some questions, so let's start right here.
Pancho, first of all, congratulations, because, well, when I was a teenager, I used to see, and now seeing you here is like, oh, wow, I feel proud of you. So, really, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, my question...
Probably you were the one, but he was in Rebelde, but now he's...
No, but yeah, I watched in Rebelde, and that was, it was pretty nice, yeah. So my question is, did you take something from your personal life that to represent in the Exorcist or something?
I talked a little bit to Jeremy and to Rolin, and specifically and to Hannah, because there were some scenes in Spanish, and I was their Spanish translator slash I was writing stuff in Spanish for them to put into the show. But from my personal life, no. I think that Tomas and me, we are very different, fortunately. But yes, I was giving some advices in terms of how to write and do certain things in Spanish.
That must be exciting, though, to play a character that's so different from who you are in real life, because then that means you're really acting, you know? That's really hard work.
And also, in a certain way, you have to embrace your character and to defend your character, even though sometimes you do not agree with what he's doing. You have to defend your character and to understand and try to understand him, no matter what he's doing on set, on the story.
Yeah, that's true. Who's next? Right here.
Hi, Pancho.
Hi.
I'm from Mexico, too.
Hey, nice.
So what was your biggest challenge to move your career? Not move, just like the one in Latin America to US. Like, what was the biggest challenge?
I think that the most important thing for me is to find interesting stories, interesting characters. It doesn't matter which language or which country you're working. I think the most important is to be fully committed to your job, and your job sometimes demands not to be so many, as much as you want to be home, but sometimes you have to sacrifice time with your family, time with your friends, but on the other hand, you have part of your family that comes with you, and it's part of that project. And I think that's been tough sometimes. Thank you.
We're going to take our final question from an online viewer.
Sure.
So Marin says, even years later, people are discovering Rebelde and watching it on Netflix. There was talk of a behind-the-scenes documentary. Does this documentary exist, and will it ever be released?
Probably all the Rebelde fans are going to understand what I'm going to say. There was this possibility, and I remember I talked to Pedro. Pedro is one of the producers it's a producer of this show. And he really wanted to do that, but I don't know in what stage that is. So hopefully we're going to see that soon. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Ooh, fans are freaking out. Well, if you are fans of Alfonso's past work, you should be watching The Exorcist, which airs on Fridays, correct, at 9 p.m.?
Right. That's right.
2 more episodes left, guys, so you better be binge watching this week. I'll be after you. Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.